I got the glitch to happen. It's okay, guys. We're millionaires. Look at that 6750 XT. It's fine. Howdy, howdy. Two terahash, baby. 2 terahash. Bam. If you guys don't mind hitting that like and that share button to help the stream out. Good morning and welcome to the Crypto Mining Show, your one-stop shop for all cryptocurrency news from the perspective of a cryptocurrency miner himself. I go by Blind Run on the internet and Matthew in real life. Today, we have a new release from Gminer. We have the cooling design. We get to see the breakdown of the cooler for the RTX 4090 Ti. We have the wrap up on Luna, sort of, not quite all the way. I guess we could not call it completely dead yet, but pretty much a wrap up on Luna. Then we have Bitcoin miners have not been leaving China. I did not know this. So we're going to get into all of it right after a word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Crypto.com. Crypto.com is my go-to centralized exchange for liquidating my crypto assets. With their Crypto.com Visa debit card, I can load up my mined Ethereum to pay for power and other operating costs quickly while earning up to 8% cash back. In addition to the Visa debit card, there are additional fiat options including wire transfers to easily receive your profits. Crypto.com also offers additional services including trading and even staking to earn additional revenue on your investments. Join 10 million plus users buying and selling 100 plus cryptocurrencies at true cost by using my affiliate link in the description for a $25 funding bonus. Or enter referral code SOAT at sign up for the same bonus. Remember, cryptocurrency investment comes with significant risks, so do your own research. Welcome back, everybody, and today we're going to start things off with miner releases as usual. We have Gminer version 2.96 released 1 hour ago. Light hash rate unlock for oldest drivers. And they fixed the LHR unlock failed error due to old drivers. That's interesting because it doesn't tell us what old drivers means. How old? How old are the drivers that it works on? 460? Is it that old? Or is it like 510.6? What is it? Come on, Gminer. Give us better notes than that. Older drivers. Sometimes I swear these dev patch notes are lazy, bro. Let's get into the first topic. Let's take a look at the RTX 4090 Ti cooler design. This one's exciting. Alleged NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 Ti Founders Edition graphics card cooler is pictured. Massive cooling design with huge heatsink, base plate with both GPU and memory coverage. It better have memory coverage because you know where you guys up last time. Let's go ahead and take a look. It's going to need it too because we're supposed to have the fastest memory ever released on this particular one. An alleged NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 Ti Founders Edition graphics card cooler has been leaked out over at ChipL forums. The cooler might give us the very first look at the updated Founders Edition design being featured on the next-gen Ada Lovelace GPUs. Recently, there have been reports that NVIDIA GeForce RTX 40 series graphics cards could launch as early as mid of July. This would suggest that we are just 2 to 3 months away from the first unveil of the next-gen lineup based on Ada Lovelace graphics card architecture. Poised to be both powerful and power-hungry, the GeForce RTX 40 series lineup is going to require some beefy cooling, and it looks like NVIDIA is giving a major uplift to its existing Founders Edition design to meet the 450 to 600 watt spec. As you can see here, here's some pictures. Look at that, the mold for the little X there. The alleged GeForce RTX 4090 Ti pictures show us 3 different segments of the FE cooler. First up, we have the silver colored metal skeleton that goes around the heatsink to give it a nice finish. Currently, the metal plate features a small logo of the card that it is equipped on. The leak plate suggests that it will probably go on the RTX 4090 Ti flagship graphics card. But one thing to point out is that the positioning of this logo has been changed from the right to the left. This part will be only visible on the bottom side of the graphics card, so it doesn't mean a lot where the label is positioned, but from a marketing standpoint, it may look weird. So here's the underside of it, I'm thinking. And you can see here we got copper, 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 copper. I don't know what's under here or under here, but copper, copper, copper. The part that's most interesting is the heatsink itself. It looks like NVIDIA is now going to utilize a bigger base plate that will not only cool the GPU, but the memory dies too. Now remember, yesterday we talked about the RTX 3080 Asus version with the Noctua cooler, and the big important part about that was basically the copper plate that extends past the core and cools the memory dies. Now I was incorrect on saying that all of the other ones only had the aluminum. The EVGA 3080s, the newer revisions, have updated to utilizing a copper base plate. Somewhere down the line during this previous generation, it was very apparent that the typical designs for cooling memory modules were not going to be sufficient, especially as memory speeds get pushed, and they're going to be getting pushed even further. So I think here is what we're seeing is just a natural industry shift, transformation into basically giving us better cooling on the memory modules, not only because miners need it, but obviously you're going to be needing it in the gaming as well. Like we saw with the RTX 3090, which put memory modules on the back of the PCB, there were times, even in other tasks, where these memory modules were just overheating to the point of killing the graphics card. Specifically, from the earliest I can remember would be things like New World. Now I know New World was driver related as well and had some other problems, but it's important to note that these were some issues that were going on, right? And I think that this is just going to be the design that all the third-party manufacturers have to move to as well. What does that mean, though, for consumers? That does mean that you will have a slight uptick in pricing because it will be more expensive to not only redesign pretty much all the coolers from the third parties, and you're going to want to be very careful because if there are cheap versions of these GPUs that are not using copper cooling on the memory modules, you're not going to want to pick them up, right? But it does mean that they're going to have to do some more R&D, redesign their coolers, all of that sort of thing. And if the Founders Editions are doing it, you can be pretty positive that it needs to be done. Currently, NVIDIA uses thermal pads to dissipate heat from the memory dies to the heatsink on its 3090 and 3090 Ti Founders Edition graphics cards. The new heatsink layout will allow NVIDIA to cool at least 12 GDDR6X memory chips. It is likely that the same configuration as the 3090 Ti's PCB will be used here, with 4 GDDR6 chips on the right and left side, 3 on the top and 1 at the bottom, with NVIDIA expected to utilize higher spec GDDR6X chips on its next gen cards. The extra cooling will be really essential for the flagship AD102 parts. There's also a large aluminum heat spreader for the VRMs and 2 thermal pads for various components. The heat sinks on the sides also seem to be upgraded from 23 fins to 24 fins on the leaked design, and you can see that right here. We can also see heat pipes leading from the main heatsink to the top, or to the one on the back. The heat is going to be dissipated from the heatsink and out of the card through a similar flow-through cooling design as the existing Founders Edition cards. With that said, the card does look like it will be 3 or even 4 slots this time around. Now it remains to be seen if the RTX 4090 Ti cooler happens to leak out much earlier, or if it will be part of the lineup itself. So far, there are only reports of the RTX 4090 will be to market. Wait, hold on. Sorry. So far, there are only reports that the RTX 4090 will be first to market, with the RTX 4090 Ti releasing later on. This could be an early design for the Ti cooler, or it is likely that NVIDIA made a few prototype coolers and decided to go with the non-Ti variant first. Again, this is alleged photo of what might be the next-gen NVIDIA GeForce RTX 40 series cooling design, but we cannot say for sure, so do treat it as a rumor for now. So here you have the 3090 Ti Founders Edition. As you can see, it's a different design, right? This copper plate is only on the core and doesn't extend to the VRMs. And I think obviously, like, extending to the VRMs like we see here is going to be massive. As I stated earlier as well, this is what some of the cards the third-party manufacturers have been doing now on the 3080s and 3070s as well. So I think that it makes a lot of sense. As far as this rumor goes, sure, it's a rumor, but it makes a lot of sense, and I would believe pretty much every word of it. As far as needing to upgrade to that, I think it's necessary because we're talking about 21 gigabits per second on the memory modules upgraded, right? We're talking about a 384-bit bus, 1 terabyte of bandwidth. You're just going to overheat too much if you're not sufficiently cooling that. And I think a way to do that is extending that copper base plate and getting some more heat pipes in there to dissipate it to the outside. These things could still basically have overheating issues right out of the box, though. Like, we're aware that we are talking about a 450 watt TDP with the potential, after overclocks on the third-party manufacturers, to go easily up to 600 watts. This is what we've also already been seeing on the 3090 Ti, with even flashes on the 3090 Ti taking us up to almost a whole entire 1,000 watts, right? Which is absolute insanity for just a single graphics card. And that does mean that the card's pulling a ton of power. And what comes with a ton of power? Well, obviously heat comes with a ton of power, and you have to have a way to dissipate it. And I think NVIDIA is learning from the 3000 series, specifically the 3090s and the 3080s, and the 3090 Ti's, that they're going to have to resolve this problem if they expect the cards to not only run at their full potential, but also last longer, right? Because heat is a huge killer. And when you're pushing, once again, that much power, it's going to cause a lot of problems if you're not dissipating that heat properly. I'm excited to also start seeing leaks of what the third-party board manufacturers are going to be designing for these particular GPUs. I think we're going to see some craziness. Obviously, with that heat dissipation that's going to be required, we are going to have massive GPUs. They're talking about 3 to 4 slot GPUs. Your motherboards, they have multiple PCI slots. Say bye to your PCI slots, bro, because you ain't going to use them unless you're going water cooling, right? And that's the other point, is like, at what point, like, if you're building at your house and you want, a normal sized PC, it's almost as if to get a normal sized PC built in, you're going to have to go water cooling, some sort of custom setup where you get a water block that's going to be a lot thinner. As far as mining goes, you're talking about essentially basically reducing the size of your mining rigs by 50%. If you have basically pretty common 4-slot GPUs, well, you're buying, if it's an open air rig, server cases probably not even in the question at this point. And then if you're doing an open air rig, you're going to end up, buying a 12 card frame and just putting 6 cards on it. And that's a legitimate thing that's going to be happening here. It's going to be really interesting to see, like I said, what the third-party board manufacturers do. But the heat sinks are going to have to get bigger because they're going to have to cool a lot more power. And that's just the nature of the beast. The only other way you're going to dissipate that heat is with some sort of liquid cooling, right? And if they don't do that, if you're not buying a card that's like that and it's air cooling, well, you're just going to end up with super, super thick boys, right? Now, this one's extra interesting. This got sent over to me by Detroit Irish. Binance's Luna investment was worth $1.6 billion. Now, it's less than $3,000 and the CEO is moving to protect users. This was posted on May 16th. The world's largest crypto exchange, Binance, had the potential to reap mega earnings from Terra's UST algorithmic stablecoin before it crashed last week, along with its sister cryptocurrency, Luna. In 2018, Binance put $3 million into Luna and received 15 million tokens in return. At Luna's price peak in April, those tokens were worth $1.6 billion US. Binance's CEO Changpeng Zhao said in a Monday tweet, "At Luna's price now, the token are worth about $2,391. But despite," there's a pop-up, nice. "But despite Binance's big losses, Zhao said he still wants retail traders who lost money during Luna's crash last week to be reimbursed before Binance is. Quote, to lead by example on protecting users, Binance will let this go and ask the Terra project team to compensate the retail users first. Binance last, if ever," end quote, Zhao wrote in a tweet on Monday. Last week, Terraform Labs' algorithmic stablecoin UST, which was theoretically tied to the price of the US dollar, note theoretically, tanked to about 13 cents. As a result of the crash, Luna, the cryptocurrency that was meant to help the UST stablecoin keep its dollar peg, also collapsed. Luna went from trading at a high of around $119 US just last month to being worth a mere fraction of a cent. Binance has been a key supporter of the company that created Luna, Terraform Labs, for years. Binance's investment arm was a lead investor in a $32 million funding round in 2018 that Terraform Labs said at the time was meant to build a, quote, modern financial system on the blockchain, end quote, according to VentureBeat. But the relationship between the Terraform Labs and Binance has not been as rosy lately. Zhao said last week that he was very disappointed with how the team behind Luna and UST handled the collapse. When Terraform Labs CEO Do Kwon said he wanted to fork Terra or create a new blockchain and distribute millions of tokens in a new cryptocurrency to supporters, Zhao was frank with his opinion. "This won't work," he said in a tweet. In a separate tweet last Friday, Zhao said that of the Terra team, so far we have not gotten any positive response or much response at all. Both UST and Luna's crash caused major losses for small investors, some of whom vented their despair on social media last week. Zhao, along with other notable crypto figures like Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin and Justin Sun, the creator of algorithmic stablecoin USDD, have thrown their support behind a proposal suggested by a Twitter user to refund 100% of funds to the poorest 99.6% of wallets who lost money from the UST crash. Sun said on Monday he would pledge $10 million of his stablecoin tied to the US dollar so the poorest 236,000 UST holders can be reimbursed. The Luna Foundation Guard, an organization that supports the Terra ecosystem, said in a Monday tweet that it had heavily dipped into its reserves to try to stabilize UST. Whatever reserves it has left over will be used to compensate remaining users of UST while prioritizing the smallest holders. Yet details on how the compensation effort would be carried out were not clear. The organization said in a Monday tweet that they were considering various distribution methods and would be sending an update at a later date. I don't have a ton of perspective on Terra Luna as far as, you know, the trading side of things, I suppose, because I don't do a lot of trading. It is also why in my general kind of interaction with crypto and stuff, I do end up just not participating in stuff like this. So if you guys follow the channel and you only got the news from me, you probably didn't even hear about Terra Luna. Why? Because it's proof of stake and it's a stable coin, two things which I don't mess with. At least by and large, right? There have been other stable coins that are algorithmic, potentially that we've talked about, like with Ergo, but that's based on a proof of work project. And so that's why we would address it over there. There are potentials for pretty much this to happen across the board to a lot of different projects, and staying safe within crypto when investing can be a lot more difficult, in my opinion, outside of mining itself. And even mining as well can be significantly risky, right? What are the benefits of mining as far as protecting your investment and so on? Well, you have hardware, and that hardware can be resold, right? And hopefully you've hit an ROI. And then if we talk about that to a further extent, it does protect you from a lot of the trash. Basically, if you're mining and something like this happened to a proof of work coin, like let's say Ethereum, we'll just use Ethereum, right? Let's say Ethereum yesterday or tomorrow, goes to $0, right? Well, you still have theoretically, and I think that would cause a much wider crypto crash, by the way, and maybe be done with everything, just to be clear. But it's easier on a smaller coin, something like a Terra Luna deal, right? A Terra deal. But let's say it crashed tomorrow. You can just move all of your equipment over to a new coin, and theoretically, you're still mining something, you're still earning income. And that is kind of the big shift, I think, in the way I approach it compared to a majority of the rest of the cryptocurrency content creators, etc., outside, of course, the miners, right? This is also why when we get real big pushes for people to say, you know, set up nodes for whatever coin, blah, 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 I get a little like, I like to do the node thing. I think the nodes are cool. But I also don't want all of my cryptocurrency tied up into a single project. I'm not intelligent enough, nor do I have the time to sit there and make sure that all of these projects are doing what they say they're going to do. By way of mining, I remove a little bit of that effort as far as research. I can research the project from a top down. I can make sure their GitHub is active. I can do all that sort of stuff. But if you had asked me before the Terra crash, if Terra was a good idea, I wouldn't have had an opinion. And then if I researched it, what would I have caught? Maybe the algorithmic thing, but then that gets confusing because there are other algorithmic stable coins. Separation of how those function and basically what makes one algorithmic stablecoin more valid over another can be a little bit difficult to target. I think one thing that I heard, but I don't know if it's true, right, was that in the example of Ergo is the SIG USD is completely tied within that DeFi ecosystem of Ergo. So that stable coin, when it starts to get, basically, if you took a stable coin and pushed it out to other platforms, that's when things get dangerous, right? When you have an algorithmic stablecoin that's in centralized exchanges and so on. And so that is my understanding about what sets some algorithmic stablecoins apart from others. But then at the same time, that means that stablecoin is not going to grow very large because it's never going to get out of that ecosystem. these are the ideas that I play with every day. Some of this, when we do these shows, etc., is me just learning along with you all and then just kind of, doing a brain dump. And then obviously I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on Terra Luna, on my process of focusing on mining and how I feel like that kind of protects me from some of these things, as well as in the live chat. And hit that like button. So, in September of, I think it was, a while ago, let's just say a while ago, maybe a year ago, a little longer than a year ago, what we ended up having was China moving off of mining or banning mining. But apparently that's not the deal. There are miners surviving the ban in China. This is an article from CoinDesk, says Bitcoin mining appears to have survived ban in China. From September 2021 to January this year, China's contribution to the Bitcoin mining network was second only to that of the US. China is once again contributing a significant chunk of the world's Bitcoin mining operations despite the ban last year, according to the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance. From September 2021 to January of this year, China's contribution to the Bitcoin mining network was second only to that of the US, which I still think is absolutely incredible, because we were talking about previously over 80% of the Bitcoin hash rate being in China, and now the US is number one. That does show me that cryptocurrency can survive through all these bans. Basically, miners are able to move their infrastructure, from what I can tell, pretty seamlessly. All things considered, right? There was not like a huge amount of downtime. It seemed to transition okay. So, from September 2021 to January this year, China's contribution to the Bitcoin mining network was second only to that of the US. That's according to CCAF's Bitcoin Electricity Consumption Index, which maps the mining activity around the world based on geolocational data reported by partnering pools. Following the crackdown on Bitcoin mining in the country last year, China's share was reduced to 0% in July and August. However, the CCAF's latest data shows that the figure was up to 22.29% in September and fluctuated around 20% in October to January. This suggests that the underground mining activity has been underway in China. Quote, access to off-grid electricity and geographically scattered small-scale operations are among the major means used by underground miners to hide their operations from authorities and circumvent the ban, end quote, the CCAF said in a statement. Man, I'm going to tell you guys to go listen to The Sovereign Individual. This, to me, not just the sovereign individual, but in general, when we're starting to talk about cryptocurrency, we're starting to talk about the inevitability of Bitcoin. That's what I always say to people, because they're always like, well, is Bitcoin going to go up or is Bitcoin going to go down? And all I really say, man, if I'm like in the sauna and some dude's talking to me about it, is Bitcoin is inevitable. Meaning, like, I don't think that there is a single nation state that's going to be able to take Bitcoin down. I think crypto, I think Web3, I think all of these technologies are inevitable. And I'm going to drink some water. This suggests I still got a bug in my throat. We're going to drink some more water. There's a snake in my boot. There's a snake in my... All right, we got it. We're good. This suggests that underground mining activity has been underway in China. Yeah, that's what we said. The sudden drop to 0% in July and August, followed by a swift increase in the subsequent months, suggesting mining firms may have been operating covertly and concealing their locations while using foreign proxy servers their services to fend off attention and scrutiny. Kazakhstan, for example, appeared to be one of the preferred destinations for miners. The Central Asian countries' share of the network climbed above 18% in August last year, according to the CBECI. By September, miners may have become assured that foreign proxy services were having their desired effect, and they need not to go to such lengths to conceal their operations in China. And that is the other thing too, which is curious, because remember, Kazakhstan was having the entire problem of the grid being overloaded, so they were shutting down illegal Bitcoin mining operations. But what if all that was just proxy mining from China, and that power wasn't actually that hash power wasn't actually in Kazakhstan? And Kazakhstan's freaking out, busting people with old CRT televisions thinking that or CRT monitors thinking that they're Bitcoin miners. And these poor people are like, I don't know. I got it from the junkyard. And they're like, shut it down now. The IP is here. I don't know. It's pretty funny to think about. Obviously, it looks like China is not masking their hash rate anymore. The people in China that are mining it are not masking it. Let me see if I can pull up the electricity index. There's usually a good one here. Yeah, so this should be updated. I think it's updated. This was December of 2021. So we don't have a full on one, but we can take a look here. And the ban was in August. Was it in August? I don't feel like this map is accurate. Was it? China says, what does it say for August? December of 2021. It says that China is 21% in December of 2021. The US was 37.84%. That's the current Bitcoin mining rate. And maybe when we saw things like this, where Kazakhstan's getting 17.2%, I mean, we know it had to do with Chinese miners, but were they actually physically moving the rigs, I suppose, is my question, right? How much was that was like proxy servers, all of that? Once again, I'm just going to say, I think that Bitcoin is inevitable, and I think that we're going to see essentially a lot of attacks on cryptocurrency in general. I think that we're going to see, one of the things that I tweeted though the other day was like, you know, it's not getting attacked, Bitcoin, which is an interesting thing to propose. There are, of course, I guess it's considered tinfoil hat to talk about Terra and UST being an actual attack or a concentrated effort, I would suppose. The BlackRock conspiracy theory, potential conspiracy theory surrounding BlackRock actually performing the attack and using funds to get rid of, you know, UST and cause a collapse there, was debunked by, well, BlackRock themselves. So, you know, just believe what you want to believe, right? And then, you know, there are theories going around out there that the next attacks will target larger chains like Binance Smart Chain and so on. And I do, to a certain extent, think that we will see more attacks. I think that they will go more through centralized services, i.e. Coinbase, Crypto.com, Binance, sure. Large exchanges. A lot of that is where these will be executed. I think that we go back to just saying, make sure, you know, not your keys, not your wallet, get your crypto off of the exchanges. That's how I feel about it. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let's get into mining profitability. Let me get rid of this stuff over here. Quit. I have to remember to get rid of all the discords and rocket chats and stuff so we can focus. All right. So, mining profitability. This is a weird one, guys. I'm having a weird day. I'm having a really weird day. Okay. I don't know what's happening, but Crazy Pool is weird today. I don't have another explanation for that. Because here, let me show you what happened, right? So if we go to our last month payouts, you can see here on 5/17, which is today, we got paid out in 0.04 ETH. That's only $92. But what is this, you say? 0.05 ETH unpaid balance, bro. So this payout happened like, what is this? 7 a.m.? 7 or 8 a.m. Okay. It's a couple hours ago, and now we have an unpaid balance of 0.05 ETH. Which means basically we made 0.09 ETH off of 5.3 gigahash. I guess they hit some huge blocks, obviously. That's the only thing I can really determine at this point. But if I go to their blocks, I don't see any huge blocks, right? So there's a couple okay big ones. 4 ETH here, 3 ETH there, that sort of thing. But we'll just see if the payout goes through. Tune back in tomorrow for my mining profitability and we'll let you know. There's like some 3.6 ones here. I mean, it's hitting some okay blocks. There's some low luck, right? And I guess... you know, I have a good share or earning enough shares to really make it up. So that would be a really nice mining day if it continues. If we, you know, actually get the projected, if that number continues to go up, or if it just pauses and we just get paid out 0.05 tomorrow, well, then I guess that would be kind of expected. Profitability on mining is not great right now, though. Obviously, revenue is rough. We do have our 2080 Ti still on Rio. 2 of them, and they are doing, I don't know. It says we've done 74 Rio in about 48 hours. Excuse me. But my hash rate's gone back down. I think the average 24 hours, 4.2. 420, baby. 420. 4.2 kilohash a second. Man, it's making some Rio. I don't know. The current payout estimate's been completely wrong. It's like 0.08, but we're, you know, in 2 days we've done basically 37 Rio a day for 2 days. Still on luck pool. Nothing really crazy here. I need to move some more over though. I have a couple CPU rigs that I have turned down right now, just because of the migration and stuff like that. So that's kind of where we're at. Let's look at mining profitability on the 3090 at 10 cents a kilowatt hour. Calculate this out. Ethereum at $2.28 a day after power. Number go down, and I think it's going to get down worse. It's pretty rough, guys. Yeah. Let's correct the flux number. We got Cero at $1.64 a day after power. Conflux at $1.44 a day after power. Nice hash for Zell hash flux is $1.53 a day after power, but if you mined it directly, it would only be $1.28 a day after power. Equilibria is at $1.59 a day after power. Cortex at $1.52 a day after power. Rio at $1.52 a day after power. Ergo at $1.47 a day after power. Xano at $1.22 a day after power. NiceHash at $1.21 a day after power on Octopus, which it's more profitable to mine Conflux directly, just to be clear. And then Flux is $1.28 a day after power. Raven coin falling down to $1.08 a day after power, and Ethereum Classic at $1.03 a day after 10 cents a kilowatt hour power. Obviously, we're still in the profit, and I think profitability will continue until we get more information on the merge. But we do have to worry about the difficulty bomb that has gone off and is going to be increasing the difficulty of Ethereum artificially here over the next few weeks, and it will start affecting miners here before June. So I think like by June, we're going to be really hurting as far as Ethereum mining goes, as far as not just revenue, but just the difficulty of the network. And then we will have to see how all of this starts filtering out to other networks. Now, remember, we are on the 27th going to do another hash rate migration test. That will be at 9:45 a.m. Central Time is when we will start. And we will be doing a 72-hour test on Ergo. And then we will be scheduling another one further out for probably Flux next. And then we'll kind of go from there. We may combine some coins like Flux and Firo, or something along those lines to give people an AMD option and an NVIDIA option. That was one idea that was brought up, so we'll go ahead and look at that. But if we look at the mining pool stats for now on Ethereum, the difficulty charts, etc., we're showing 1.09 petahash a second. And then the difficulty obviously has gone up. It's at 14.10. It's kind of a little bit back down right now, though. Let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin, because we kind of already talked about Bitcoin today. 233 exahash a second. It's kind of been sitting right around there for a while, and that difficulty continues to go up regardless of price. Let's look at Ethereum Classic, 25.65 terahash a second. It's down from about 27 last week, so there's that. Let's take a look at Flux, which is probably all over the place. 1.62 mega solutions a second. Flux hash rate is down, and it is very spiky. Very, very spiky, especially on Zpool down here. Most of that spikiness is coming from a lot of people renting on NiceHash. And that's kind of the way it gets dispersed out. Take a look at Raven coin, which is still too hard to basically read due to this one random crazy spike in the chart. But right now it sits at 3.26 terahash a second. And Ergo. Ergo is at 16.11 terahash a second. And then we can look at Cero as well. I think Cero had a pump, obviously, in hash rate. Yep. A lot of people are staying on it right now. It's at 66.11 gigahash a second. Probably want to get that hash rate off of Cero.cash, though, and go to Gongpool or something along those lines. And what was the other one? That was way up here. Conflux has been at top again. Interesting. Has some hash rate been moving to Conflux as well? No. 260.44 gigahash a second. So there you go. Mining pool profits for the month. Crazy Pool still showing on top. Let's check over here, though. Last 90 days, Mining Pool up in first, F2 Pool in second, Flex Pool in third. Last 60 days, Ether Mine in first, F2 Pool in second, Flex Pool in third. For the last 30 days, Ether Mine in first, Mining Pool Hub in second, F2 Pool in third. For the last 21 days, Mining Pool Hub in first, Ether Mine in second, F2 Pool in third. For the last 14 days, Ether Mine in first, F2 Pool in second, Nano Pool in third. For the last 7 days, Ether Mine in first, Crazy Pool in second, Nano Pool in third. For the last 3 days, ZET in first, Crux Pool in second, Nano Pool in third. And for the last day, ZET in first, Nano Pool in second, Crux Pool in third. And then it's crazy because it says down here, crazy Pool's in last. What is going on with this? Also, ZET making that much. I don't understand what's going on anymore. It doesn't make any sense. Something's not working in that API. Anyway, it is what it is. ASIC miner profitability. The Kadena Gold Shell KD6 is up to $48 a day. It's at least recovering a little bit. Probably doesn't feel so bad, man, right now. The KD5 at 31.79. Look, it still feels bad if you paid $67,000 for the KD6, which is what they were going for. So that still feels bad. The Antminer L7 down to 26.85 a day. But it's not the end of the world. It's fine. It's better than it was when it was down to like 20 a day. That was rowdy. If we scroll down to the S19 Pro, like we look at every day, it's down to $7.42 a day on mining rig rentals. Digibyte's at the top with $8.86 a day profit if you're mining Digibyte. No sales really that I noticed. And then I take that back immediately. You have the Bitmain Antminer S19J Pro 104 terahash model for $7,300. The 100 terahash model down to $6,800. Well, they had already done the cut on the 110 model that we talked about yesterday, down to $8,000. If you would like to purchase an ASIC, just consider using my affiliate link down below for BT miners. I know, and like I suggest too as well, you probably want to wait a little bit on some of these unless a really good deal pops up, just because the market is adjusting right now. And that is how it goes. Let's get into questions and answers. Remember, super chats never required, always appreciated, first to be answered. Tag at Son of a Tech. And that will turn the message orange, making it easier for me to read. Let me get it pulled up here. Babelfish says, Ask Son of a Tech, I believe that mining in China is now completely done by the state and no longer by individuals. That would be interesting. But then wouldn't we see more? Well, I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't have been hidden as much. Talon79 says, Ask Son of a Tech, I think there was some tampering going on with UST and Luna. Someone has to be doing something to break down a system that rewards you nicely for fixing it along the way constantly. I got allergies today. I got to go work out and get rid of the allergies. Detroit Iris says, Ask Son of a Tech, with ETH going away, can you see Mining Co. start liquidating? I don't know what you're saying. Start liquidating ETH assets since Ethereum Classic about half as profitable and electricity costs are rising, or ETC price jumping. It depends on how good there's too many factors, right? Like we've talked about this a ton. Ethereum Classic. Is there going to be price discovery? I mean, do we have to worry about Ethereum going proof of stake and then just completely destroying itself and not functioning properly, and then people are just looking for another chain? If they look for another chain, is it Ethereum Classic that they move to out of ease of use? There's lots of variables here, right? Dave says, Last time I checked, the Wall Street Bets boys were going nuts for Luna over the weekend. It was weird to watch right after your segment on it getting dropped by Flux. It's yeah. So I think obviously like Wall Street Bets does something different than what so it's difficult because it depends. Typically they take something that is being heavily manipulated, right? Or getting shorted, right? Like one of the stocks, but they do it in the traditional finance section or whatever. And then they use a bunch of people to pump a bunch of money into it to basically kind of as an FU to the institutional investors or whatever, right? Retail investors saying FU to institutional investors. The question is with Luna and Terra, I guess the chain could function no matter what, and they could artificially increase it and then put enough money into it, maybe. But crypto inherently acts a little bit different. And the problem is Terra and Luna have liquidated, all their Bitcoin holdings like we just read today. So there's nothing backing that. Of course, at the same time, I don't think that Wall Street Bets really cares if anything's backing it. So I don't know. Claude says, at Son of a Tech, do you still have the coin miner? Yeah, I turned it off yesterday. I posted a video on Twitter. It started making noise. It'll be my second coin miner to go out, unfortunately. They both made it about 2 weeks before they went. L Dude says, at Son of a Tech, I live in an apartment complex and recently rented out a garage space with unlimited power for free or for monthly fee. Would it be worth it to mine there for free? Yeah, if it's free, but they might get you in trouble. It depends. Tobias says, at Son of a Tech, if we can't trust the wattage reading from the software, how can we be sure we can trust the temperature reading? So, I mean, the temperature reading is typically going to be a sensor that is on there. The power, the reason you can't trust the power is there are other contributing factors, including power supply efficiency, including the type of voltage you're running off of, whether it's 120 or 220. It also it only pulls total board power. So any additional components on the system that are there, it doesn't typically read those. In a lot of cases, it'll only pull, depending on the card, will only pull the power that the core is requiring. There are multiple factors going into that. Temperature, you essentially put a sensor on the board. It tells you, how much heat is coming out of it. That being said, the placement of the sensor can basically be in a position that doesn't necessarily capture your the hottest spot on the card and the temperature there. So it is still advised for a lot of people, if you're having issues, to get things like some sort of thermal imaging or thermal imager to go ahead and check the actual temperatures across the entire board. So that's a fair point. But as far as the reading goes, you can be fairly certain that wherever it's reading from is accurate because it's just a temperature sensor. Power has multiple other, has other factors that go into it. Johanna says, ask Son of a Tech, any news on your coin miner? We just talked about that. Drinking Milk says, ask Son of a Tech, how many RTX 3090s would it take to cook a Luna special fried rice? Being funny. Fernando says, ask Son of a Tech, do you use a ledger? If so, which one? No. Roboto says, of Cryptonics. There we go. That's something. Roboto of Cryptoponics. Jeez Louise, bro. At Son of a Tech, sorry to hear about your ASIC difficulties. Appreciate the transparency. For sure, dude. Papa Liv says, at Son of a Tech, I am currently expanding my farm a bit. I'm curious what other GPU miners are doing, expanding, scaling back, or holding tight. Is this poll worthy? We did do a poll on Twitter already. Let me pull it up for you. Now, the problem is our sample size is everybody that's still watching videos about mining, right? So it's a little... It's a biased poll result, right? Like, that's kind of the problem here. But we did the poll. And it says, I said, a lot of miners calling GPU mining dead. Because that's what I'm getting in the comments on YouTube. So I said, are you in or out? In meaning continuing to mine, out meaning not, and then undecided. We had 77.7% say they're still mining out of 1,027 votes. Out, 9.7% say they're out, and 12.6% say they're undecided. We can do a poll in YouTube as well if you like. Are you still mining? Okay, let's see. So you wanted to see if they're expanding. So, are you buying? Let's see. Selling, buying, or doing nothing with miners. Selling. Buying. Nothing. There we go. Something like that. Oh, ho, 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 ho. What are you guys doing? I guess that is the question. We'll find out. A lot of people saying nothing. Alrighty. We'll let that poll go through and get some more info. Established Mario 2012 says GPU mining dead long time ago. How long is a long time ago? Define long time ago. Buying up these cheap GPUs. Investing in infrastructure, says Raptor Nodes. You can continue that. That would still be buying. It's a sideline hobby. We have 102 votes so far. I believe we have 380 people in the channel. So get your votes in real quick. I'd like to see at least 150, 190 votes. Can we get to like almost 200 votes? And I'll answer some more questions. Da 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 da. Florida man says, "That son of a tech, why is crypto used as a monetary instrument rather than a security verification layer?" I don't know why you're trying to use random language that I don't understand, but I don't know what you're trying to ask. Sorry. GoldenEyeForever.com says, "That's some attack founders 3070 Ti at MSRP. Yes or no? Up to you." Window of these nuts. There you go. Says, "Ask Simon Tech, what do you think of the new RX 5700 updates? Do you think the 3060 Ti's are still better?" I mean, I have a majority of my farm are 5700s, so I'm all down with it, obviously. Detroit Iris says, "Assuming nothing is keeping farm the same size at Son of a Tech." Big Jack says, "Please take a look at daily PPS. It's going up on ETH and Easel. Has been near at the top lately. Daily pay per share." Which one? How are you wanting me to look it up, Jack? Black Crypto Cat, or Black Cat Crypto, there we go, says, "That's Simon Tech buying more slowly than before." Yeah, I'm getting infrastructure done right now. Mining Depth says, "Ask Simon Tech now. The light hash rate is unlocked. Will it affect GPU prices?" I don't think so. Gaming Vid says, "Ask Simon Tech, never let him know your next move." There you go. Burthang. There we go. At Son of a Tech, personally, I'm waiting a few months to scale. I think hardware prices will be low here soon. Keeping everything online, though. I will not turn it off. I'll pay for power. And I mean, like, generally, that's what I'm doing, right? Like, I'm not buying equipment. I'm upgrading. So I'll quadruple the power of the farm. And then hopefully that just lines up perfectly with a reduction in price and liquidation of equipment, right? R mode is awesome for the 5700 XT. I'm still having a ton of heat issues though, which has been part of my problem. I will be getting in there and trying to do a video on it, but we also we're working, the video today should be the release of this review. This 2 terahash on Firo a second 6750 XT, which is not true, by the way, but yeah. Colton says, "Do you still not like the 3070 Ti's?" Obviously, we did the test. Now that they're fully light hash rate unlocked, they're looking really good. So they're at like 200 watts, 80 mega hash a second. They're great. For sure. All right, we got over 200 votes. Get in your votes. I'm going to wrap it up now. It's time to get a workout in. Looking for some cheap RX 5700s. Psh, I'm not selling. Sorry. Especially now. We got a nice bump out of that. Pay Me in Crypto says, that son of a tech. Does a rig reset luck during solo mining? Does a rig reset luck during solo mining? Well, no. So, luck doesn't matter. Luck means nothing. Other than, all it means is basically the pool is just calculating based on your hash rate when you should have found a block. That's all luck does. Like, that's all it's doing is calculating, well, technically based on your hash rate, you should have found a block by now. But in reality, when solo mining means absolute jack crap, it doesn't mean anything because, well, it's luck. Like, reading that's not going to tell you anything at all, period, end of story. You could start mining solo and find a block in 5 seconds or 30 years. It really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the difficulty on the network and the amount of hash power you have in comparison to the rest of the network. So, does it reset your luck? Maybe the pool resets it, but it doesn't matter. It's a moot point. Like it's a pointless calculation. Other than like, oh crap, I should have gotten a block by now based on my hash rate. Darn. Like, that's it. Raptor nodes. If you want to send me the 6650, that I'd like that. We're gonna send this one. Mining. You guys have been helping me out with that, by the way. Metal Miner sent me this one, and we'll have the review out for it. The PO box is on the About tab on YouTube, so you can go over there. Buying, selling, and getting more efficient. Yeah, I got to keep getting more efficient. S. Stonker says, that's on the tech, but for after proof of stake, assuming aren't 5700 XTs good on other algos compared to the 3060 Ti? Want a second opinion before I pull the trigger on one. You're better off buying 3000 series GPUs right now for NVIDIA. The 5700 XTs I'll keep because, like, I don't know, they're pretty good at Firo. And now they're getting even more power efficient. So there's no reason to really get anything else. But everybody has to recall, I was making videos about building 5700 XT rigs a long time ago. A couple years now, right? I was buying them. Basically, there was a card that released. It was the MSI Mech 5700 XT. It had bad thermal pad placement. Gamers Nexus shit all over it, so nobody wanted it. And they all ended up on a website called ProVantage for $300 a piece. So I was like, well, all I got to do is buy a bunch of 5700s over here, replace the pads, and they were still getting 56 mega hash a second. So, the reason I have 5700 XTs and a bunch of them is because of that. Now, what am I looking for again this time? I'm looking for similar deals, right? I will be looking for the best hash rate at the lowest power, and maybe hopefully some manufacturer messes up on something and one of the gaming YouTubers shits all over them and they go into B stock and nobody wants them and I can pick them up super cheap and I can fix it myself. So you have to understand that that play was not I would not buy 5700 XTs right now. There. I wouldn't buy 5700 XTs right now. But I'm not going to sell mine because they way overpaid themselves off. You know. Way overpaid themselves off. So just keep running it. You know what I mean? What you're looking for is hopefully things that people don't want that you can make work. That's what you're looking for. Like, so a good example would have been if you knew the 3070 Ti was going to do really good and you could have picked them up cheaper, right? That's kind of hard because of the market, right? It's like the opportunities like the opportunity on the 5700 XT, they're coming. They're not here yet. We don't know what those opportunities are going to be. They're not here yet, right? What if the new line of the 40 series comes out and we get something like, I don't know, 2080 Ti's on B stock for $300 a pop, right? Then boom, snag them. Maybe maybe the 4000 series is what convinces all the gamers to upgrade from their 2000 series GPUs. And you know the 2000 series GPUs are going to do really good on Flux. So you're snagging up all the 2000 series GPUs from gamers on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe that's what you do, right? Maybe Kadena takes a huge dive and all of the people with Kadena miners start liquidating their Kadena miners. And you're like, I think in the next bull run, Kadena is going to go back up. Case in point, the L3 Plus, right? There was a time when you could purchase L3 Pluses for $75 to $125 a pop. And then they were selling for like $4,000 a pop. These are the things that you're looking for. These are the things that you're waiting for. There is risk involved. You're going to have to basically measure out the risk, try to hopefully figure out what you can do, right? All right, I'm going to call it. We're going to end this poll now. Why didn't he give me the results? You son of a biscuit. There we go. Are you selling, buying, or doing nothing with miners? Nothing. 52% of you. Buying, 42% of you. And selling, only 5%. So I think that tells us that we are not in the time yet to where buying is effective, because only 5% are selling. So if more people were selling, then it would be time to buy, right? Maybe time is not now to buy. Maybe you take this time to expand your power, right? Maybe you take this time to get that 400 amp panel installed. Maybe you take the time to work on airflow, whatever, right? Or if you have all that worked out, you do the buying. It's up to you, but there you go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to hit the like, comment, subscribe, notification bells down below. I will see you next Tuesday, or AKA tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. Central Time. We'll have the review of the 6700 XT out this evening, and should have the Ergo hash rates available as well. I'll probably be for 3050, and I'll probably be testing the 3050 on Twitch late night tonight at twitch.tv/blindrun. There you go.